This video is going to be the first of a series of videos on alternative fly tying materials. I think this is a really important subject for people getting into fly tying or people who've been fly tying for a lot of years. As a young man, I was born and raised in Golden, Colorado, and my family got divorced and we relocated to Southwest Oklahoma. And when I say in Southwest Oklahoma, I can throw rocks at Texas from my yard. I mean, we're in the very, very southwest corner. And when I was a kid, nobody down here fly fished. Nobody had fly rods. They thought I was stupid when I brought them out and tried. But I loved fly fishing, and I'd go to the river and I'd fish for gar. Heck, I'd try to catch catfish or crawdad patterns. And, I'd fish the farm ponds for bass, and I loved fly fishing. And it wasn't popular down here, but I did a lot of it, and I was just kind of the oddball. Well, the eastern part of the state, they trout fish and stuff like that, but over here they didn't. So there was no resources whatsoever for fly tying material. The closest fly shop would have been in Oklahoma City or Dallas at that time. No, it would have just been Dallas. It would have been Cabela's in Dallas because Oklahoma didn't have a Bass Pro at that time. So there was no way. It wasn't feasible for me to be able to go to a fly shop. So I had to order through catalogs. And I hated like looking through a catalog and like, what's it really going to be like when it gets here? So I would order some stuff here and there. And then in the summer when I'd go see my dad, I'd go to every fly shop I could and I'd get fly stuff and I'd bring it back. But I'd always run out or I didn't have the money to get everything I wanted. So I was watching a TV show about where they make stuff and how they do stuff, and there was an episode one day, and it was crazy, ironic, because I was tying flies, and the recipe called for some badger hair. I didn't have any, and I'm done, and I go in the house, and they're watching TV, so I sit down with the family watching TV, and there's an episode on shaving brushes, and the shaving brushes were made out of badger hair, and I'm like, wow, that's awesome, So I was telling my parents about it, and the antique shops used to carry these. It was a common thing. A lot of people had them on display and whatever. So we ran down to an antique shop, and for $1, I was able to buy a big old bundle. And sure enough, it was badger hair, good quality badger hair, and it was fascinating to me. So I really got into the point that I would really study materials. Well, my mother was a quilter, crafter. She did everything. So was my grandparents. So I was in and out of craft stores all the time. So when I was in and out of these craft stores, I was in there looking at the yarns and the ropes and the glues and anything and everything I thought I could make a fly out of. And over time, I learned a lot about materials. So I'm going to share some of that with you. So the reason I'm doing this is I actually screwed up this week and I ordered from Jay Stockard. I'm going to Cibola Creek, Colorado this next week, and I need to tie a bunch of terrestrial patterns. So I'm tying some chubby Chernobyls, and I needed some white poly yarn. I had run out of it. I'm out of EP fibers and everything. It was like, what in the world? So I ordered some. Well, I clicked the wrong color and I ended up getting black polypropylene yarn, and it'll work for some of the patterns I'm making, but I was wanting white, and it was like, crap, I don't have enough time to make another order and it get here in time for me to tie my flies. So I did what I normally do, and I went to the craft store. And I started looking in their yarns, and I found it's called Bonnie Craft Cord. Now this is not in the yarn section. This is in the section with like the beads and stuff like that, where they make like dream catchers and like plant hangers and stuff like that. So you will not find this in the yarn section. Go to the other craft section where all the beads are at, and you'll find this. In this stuff, if you look at the ingredients, it's 100% polypropylene yarn. It's braided, so you have to brush it out, which is no biggie. So you can buy this whole roll for $4.99, and it is 100 yards of yarn. Now they have it in browns and blues, reds, orange, tan, green. I bought every color they had in stock, and this stuff is the exact same stuff as the poly yarn that you can get from a fly shop. So what I've done, just to show you guys, is I got this roll of black right here, which I already had black, but I wanted to show you guys a comparison so you could see how so accurate it was. So here's a piece that I have frayed out, and I'm going to get the package from the store, from the fly shop. Now theirs is not as thick as this, which is no big deal, but it is the exact same material, and you can separate it into however big of pieces you need to tie with. So it's super easy to do. So I'm going to show you guys how you can take and make this into the poly yarn like we use for chubby Chernobyls. So what you're going to use is you're going to take a cat brush just like this. Move the camera down so you guys can kind of see. You're going to take this cat brush and you're going to take your thread or your poly yarn, and you're just going to kind of start brushing through all of that, and then you're going to pull, kind of loosen all them braids up, and you're just going to brush. And each time you do that, you gain about a half an inch of progress. And before long, you can unwind all the way down and you'll have a substantial amount of poly yarn. And this stuff, you can make strike indicators, you can use it on your chubby Chernobyls, you can use it in places that you need EP fibers. It is absolutely the same thing. And you can, like I say, this roll was $5.99 for black, but you can get 100 yards of this stuff in every color imaginable, and it's about the same price for a yard of this stuff, you know, through fly shops. Now, I support your fly shops, guys. Them guys know their stuff. They're gonna, you know, help you with what the local patterns are. They have high quality materials that are specifically designed for fly tying. So if you can go and deal with them, every chance you get, you need to support your fly tyer in your fly fishing shop. But if you're not able to get to a place like that and you're needing poly yarn for this video's sake, this is the easiest way to get it. I just cut this little piece off, and all I got to do is just fray it out, and it is exactly what I need. So I'm going to be able to make a bunch of chubby Chernobyls without having to order and wait and try to, you know, tie all these patterns up before I go on my fishing trip. I was able to go to the local craft store and they had it. So for polypropylene yarn, this is what the package looks like. It's called Bonnie Craft Cord. It's the exact same product, guys. So I hope this helps, and we will see you in the next video. I will try to post one of these alternative materials probably weekly, to where you guys can kind of each see a different material and where you can source that material, and we'll start tying up some patterns with it. You can see it being done. So appreciate your guys' support, and we'll see you in the next round.